Tonight I'll be coming to you from the new Scorpion Cigar Lounge. As you can see by all the boxes in the back. Obviously I'm not unpacked. However, I have a little corner set up where I have my computer set up and TV and a little refrigerator and a microwave. Got a couple chairs up here, a few lights. So it's pleasant enough out that it's not ridiculously hot up in this uninsulated attic. I hope the first review done inside the Scorpion Cigar Lounge turns out all right. Let's get to the review. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I will be reviewing the Diesel Crucible. This is a Toro size 6.5 by 52 ring gauge. 6.5 by 52 ring gauge. This was gifted to me, sent in for review by Victor Esposito. Thank you very much, my friend. I'll be filling out my score sheet. The wrapper on this cigar is from Ecuador, Media Tiempo. Binder is Honduran La Entrada Copan, and fillers are Ligeros Esteli and Canadega Esteli, and some proprietary tobaccos. There you go. I'm an idiot. This cigar is made by A.J. Fernandez in his Esteli, Nicaragua factory. Best I can determine, this cigar runs about $12 per stick. This is a limited run. A total of 12,000 cigars were made. Yeah, there you have it. Very limited. The wrapper is, it's kind of dry, but not like dried out dry. It just has kind of a dry feel, but at the same time there's a slightly waxy oiliness trying to come through. And when I look at it, it almost looks like I see, thought maybe I saw some of the bumps coming through, some toothiness, but I'm not sure. Very, very small if they are. Alright. Nothing on the wrapper as far as the nosing. The foot smells really nice. It's got some leather, some sweet cedar, a little bit of cedar spice, a little something else in there. Is it bread dough maybe? Not sure on that. Might be bread dough. Alright. Let's get it cut up. Take off this footband before I forget. Alright, not too bad. I think I'll start with a V cut tonight. can always open it up further with a full guillotine cut if I feel it warrants it. Nice draw, good airflow. Once again, lots of leather on the pre-light draw. And my regular viewers know that I like the leather on these cigars. That's pretty much all I'm picking up, I think. Maybe some underlying cedar in there. That's some good saddle leather there too. Saddle leather. All right. This has a appears to be a double cap. Nice bronze color on the wrapper. Maybe some might call it bronze, some might call it espresso. I call it bronze instead of espresso only because when I was in some nice bright light over there at the computer, it's almost like there's a gold or a copper underlying color that's trying to come through the brown. Much like something that's bronzed, you can see that there's another color trying to come through. So that's why I would call it bronze. It reminds me of bronze. Anyway, use a triple flame torch lighter. Actually, I could probably turn this flame down a bit. That initial blast of pepper. Something else on there, almost kind of bitter, sour, maybe that's a coffee note that I'm picking up. It's very dry on the mouth. The cigar itself, very dry on my lips, and the smoke seems to be quite dry. Alright, I'm going to let this heat up and I'll come back some in the first third. See you in a bit. I'm pairing tonight's cigar with Larceny, 92 proof, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, very special small batch, 46% alcohol by volume. That's what it says on the bottle. Now I have had a little bit of this. I sampled this last week when I bought it, and I liked it. So I'm going to have a little more. A little dram here. Kind of a dark amber color. Definitely a wood note there. Not picking up a whole lot just yet. However, I'll add some water to this. It's 46 proof. Start with about a teaspoon Can always add more after that if need be. Starting to open up a little bit. 46 proof is still relatively strong, even with about a teaspoon of water. The alcohol, the vapors, they're very dominant there. They're right there. Yeah, I think it's going to need more water. It's you can pick up the Bourbon-esque character bound within all that alcohol that you're smelling. It's a little bit of vanilla in there, and the oak wood, some caramelized sugars, kind of sweet. Once again, I'm tasting the wood. That alcohol is still too strong. I'm definitely going to have to add a little bit more. I'll go with another teaspoon here. I'm going to let it sit in the glass for a while. See what happens. It's opening up a little bit more. I'll tell you what, we're going to let this sit for a while. Let's get back to the cigar review. Here we are, just about 15 minutes in. I have a solid inch, a little bit more. Not quite, though, I'll say not quite an inch and a half worth of ash. Pretty straight burn line, although it looks like the ash is starting to lean a little bit. Maybe I'll give it a little tap, see if it comes off. Oh yeah, broke off in a nice cone shape. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I'll go ahead and point this out because I did list all the tobaccos used in the filler. Well, all that I knew. Whatever their proprietary tobacco is, I don't know. But there are Ligeros in here, and typically the Ligero will burn a little bit slower than the binder and the filler, than the binder and the wrapper. So that will leave a cone shape like this. And that's what you would want to look for when you have Ligeros in there. Shows good construction. So, with that, definitely a coffee note in there. That kind of bitterness that you get from a coffee sometimes, that's what I'm picking up. A little bit of a spice note in there, kind of peppery spice. Smoke is quite dry, and there's a lot of smoke. Definitely a lot of smoke output. Okay, I don't think the cigar is coming to its own just yet. Not a whole lot going on. Nothing bad, just it's still heating up and certainly haven't hit the sweet spot yet. So I'm going to come back somewhere in the second third here. I'll see in a bit. Here we are, just about 50 minutes in. About halfway through, so I'm into the second third. A little better than halfway through, I guess. It's starting to balance out. The flavors are still, for the most part, coffee and kind of a spicy, peppery note. Smoke is still quite dry. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a creamy coat left on the mouth. Tip of the tongue is very dry. Everything's dry, but leaves the mouth feeling both dry and creamy at the same time. kind of one-dimensional. Same flavors throughout. Maybe if I really look for it, there might be a little bit of like a dry cedar. Is that what I'm picking up? Perhaps. For just a moment there, I picked up a little bit of a cedar note there, a dry cedar. Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting. Once again, plenty of smoke output. It's ashing off in about 1-inch chunks to give it a good firm tap. And the ash will break off into this cone shape. Nice even burn. Not perfectly even, but really pretty darn good. Nice crisp burn line. No trouble with unraveling or anything like that. Nice tight seams, very minimal veins. It's warming up a bit. Not hot, just getting warm. Not really picking up any other flavors. That little bit of dry cedar that I picked up was just very subtle, very short on the finish, almost undetectable. It kind of caught me by surprise because I wasn't picking it up, and just for a split second, I picked up a little bit of that cedar, and then it was gone. Okay, I'll continue smoking this, and I'll come back somewhere in the final third. See you in a bit. We're just about an hour and 10 minutes in the final third. The cigar itself is becoming warm, but the smoke is remaining fairly cool, just maybe a little bit warm, but really nothing to be concerned about. I've picked up some subtle hints of leather and cedar from time to time, but the main flavor of that coffee note and that little bit of peppery spice is the mainstay of what I'm picking up. Also, one of the seams is just starting to come loose a little bit right in here. No big deal. It's not unraveling, it's just the seam is starting to come a little bit loose. I'm going to go ahead and tap this off. I have about 1 inch worth of ash tapped off nicely. A lot of smoke output. Pretty one-dimensional, really. Just from time to time, I'll pick up a real subtle hint, and it disappears almost instantly, of that leather and cedar and that kind of thing. Just real subtle, almost non-existent. A novice might not even pick it up, and someone that's been smoking for 20 or 30 years might not pick it up as their senses become dulled. But for someone like me, I've been smoking for about 8 years. I still pick these things up. It's kind of a learning curve. Your palate will pick things up, and when you're new at it, you may not notice some of these flavors. It takes a while to recognize these things. You have to kind of train the palate. But as I mentioned, if you've been smoking for many, many, many years, it will dull and numb the senses a bit. It's really about all I'm getting out of this right now. Alright, I'll continue smoking this, and I'll come back in the nub. See you in a bit. Here I am, about an hour and 20 minutes or so. About an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm in the nub. Just now starting to burn a little wonky here. Not much going on with the flavor profile, no changes really. Still been pretty much one-dimensional. I'll go and end this review here saying that the Diesel Crucible at $12, really a bit pricey. Even for a good cigar, that's a bit pricey. There's a lot of good cigars out there for half that price, $6 or $7 or something. You can get a pretty decent cigar. $12, one-dimensional cigar. The burn was just fine all the way up until now, really. There was kind of a coffee note throughout, with a little bit of a pepper spice note, and from time to time I would pick up some real subtle flavors of leather and some cedar spice. That was really about it. The smoke was dry. A little bit of a creamy mouthfeel, which is, it kind of contradicts itself. It's dry and it's creamy at the same time, but yeah, that's what I'm getting from it. My mouth is coated with a bit of a creaminess, at the same time it's dry. As I said, one-dimensional. Who would I recommend this cigar to? Probably not a novice, especially because at a price point of $12 for about an hour and 15 minutes or so, hour and 20 minutes worth of smoking. Can be maybe put someone off that is new to smoking cigars. And even if they were to try it, being one-dimensional, although that may be a good aspect to a beginner that wouldn't know to look for these subtle flavors. An experienced cigar smoker might be able to pick out some of these subtle flavors, but I would think would recognize that for what you get for the price, it's not necessarily a good value. The burn was good smoke output, good construction, nice tight seams, good looking cigar, nice looking wrapper, held together nicely. Just for me, I don't think I would buy this cigar. I did score it, initially I scored it a little bit higher, but I went back because when I came up with 92 points without any adjustments, I thought, well, this is not a 92 cigar by any means, no way. So I went back and I kind of looked at some of my scores, and I thought, well, I did give it a little bit higher here than I probably should have, based on the flavor profile I was picking up in several of the categories. So I did drop off the half a point in several of the categories, bringing it down to a final score of 89 points. And yes, this is probably easily an 89-point cigar for me. Really, any much more than that, it would have to bring in some more flavors. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the review, and thank you, Victor Esposito, for sending this in for review. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. I'll catch you next time.